lovely colouring friends. My name is Amanda and this is my channel, Amanda Colours. Welcome if you are new, and welcome back if you are a returning friend. Today I am going to be doing a video talking about how I colour mandalas. I have a few different ways that I kind of tackle them, and I thought it might help some of you who are maybe a little bit intimidated by mandalas or just aren't quite sure how to get started. But before we do that, I'm going to share with you my little random fact, which I have been forgetting to add to my videos. But for today's video, I wanted to let you know that a snail can nap for up to 3 years. Isn't that amazing? I wish I could nap for up to 3 years. But anyway, they certainly are slow animals, so I guess it makes sense that they can nap for a long time. So there you go. So today I am going to be colouring in my 100 Beautiful Mandalas by Camellia Angelkova. And this book is a little project book that I have started for myself, and I am colouring every mandala with a different colour palette from the Sarah Renee Clark colour cubes. So I started at palette number 1 on mandala number 1 and I'm just going through like that. So I am actually up to, where are we? I'm up to number 10 here. And so that means that I am up to palette number 10, which is this one here. So I thought I would use this as my colour palette. It kind of takes the worry of working out, you know, what colours to use and what have you. So that is one thing that can make colouring mandalas easy, or easier, is to find a colour palette that you like and use that on the mandala. So I'm just going to get my my markers together and what I'm going to use to colour this, and I will be back in a moment. Okay, so what I have done is I have gone through with my Copic swatches and chosen the colours I want to use. I haven't been able to match the colours exactly, but I have found colours that are as close as I can get. So I am using RV42 Salmon Pink, E18, which is Copper, YG0000, which is Lily White, Y28, which is Leonette Gold, and YG67, which is Moss. So they're the colours I'm going to use. So when it comes to colouring a mandala, there are a few ways you can go about it. Looking at your colour palette, you can think about which colours you want to be the most dominant. So I think I'd like to use the pink and the copper as my most dominant colours. So I'm going to be looking for elements within the mandala to use those colours that are a higher ratio of the overall mandala. So that's kind of overall the look I want. But when it comes to actually starting to colour, you can either just start from the outside and work your way in, start from the middle, work your way out, or I've also seen and started to do it a bit more myself by colouring by finding the areas that you kind of consider to be the background of the mandala and colouring those first, and then pulling out different elements as you go after that. So I think I would like my this middle colour here to be my background colour, and I think I will start by colouring the background first, and then choosing the next elements. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and put the colouring, speed it up and put it to some music, and I'll be back when I have completed the background. Okay, so I've done the background and I did make some mistakes here, but thankfully it is the lightest colour, so I should be able to put other colours on top. Now, depending on where you choose to use your colours is really going to change the final look of the mandala. Like if I had chosen to use the copper as the background, obviously it would be a much darker looking mandala overall, or like if I used the green, it would just have a very different feel. So that's something to think about when you are colouring your mandalas. And as I said before, I would really like these two colours to be the dominant colours in the mandala. So what I will do is I'll actually go through and colour the elements that I want to be these colours, and then kind of fit the other colours in around that. The other thing you can do is with a colour palette, you can evenly space the colour all around the mandala. You could kind of do it in a repeating pattern as you go out through the elements, so that's kind of two different ways to do it. Choosing some dominant colours and putting those in first and then fitting the other colours in around, or by trying to quite evenly space the colours around. And I do find generally that I tend to, even when I want dominant colours, I do tend to kind of start to space colours around evenly. I think that's just the way my brain works. Yeah. But I'm also going to try and do a bit of a blend between these two colours. So I'll show you with this mandala I did previously. I've used a dark blue down here and a lighter blue here and blended them together. So I'm going to try and do something similar with these two colours on this mandala, just to give it a bit more interest than just flat colour. And that's something I've been experimenting with lately. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Again, I'll speed it up, put it to music, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so please excuse how messy this is looking. I am actually really shaky today, and I can't feel, I have no feeling in my right hand from fibromyalgia today. So after the first couple of minutes, I can't feel anything. So I'm extra messy, but that's okay. These things happen. So I have gone and filled in a whole bunch of the pink and the copper. I'm thinking I might do pink as the scallops on the outside and copper as the band, but I want to kind of fill in some other colours first to make sure that's what I want to do. So I am going to go in with the Leonette Gold, and I feel like I want these middle sections here to be that colour, so I will go ahead and do that. So really at this stage, it's about putting colours near each other that either create contrast against each other, or it's about colouring elements that make sense in that colour, if that's kind of how you're looking at it. So, for example, this looks very flower-like to me, so it made sense to do those in pinks. These scrolly bits here kind of remind me of vines, so I might use the green for that, and again I might go back and do more pink on the areas that look like flower petals, and it just kind of starts to fill in, and then you kind of keep rethinking and adjusting as you're going. So I'll add in that green. So because the green is so dark, I don't think I'll be doing any more of that because I don't want the mandala to feel really dark and heavy. I might thinking. So I might go through and make all these little areas that look like petals. I'll make them pink. through and done some more areas that just kind of made sense in my mind to colour in the colours that I've done. I'm going to do this inner part, the copper, and I'm going to try and do a fade between the Leonette Gold and the salmon pink and see if that looks any good. So I'll just go ahead and do those. Okay, so we're nearly done. And I will say this is looking much darker on screen than in real life, but that's fine. But yeah, so as you're thinking about your pages, the more colours you use, the busier it will look. So I could have done every single section a different colour all the way around, or I don't always double up sections and things, but it is something you can do to give a different look. But yes, if I had used a different colour in every section, obviously the mandala would look much more detailed and much busier, but that's not really what I was feeling today. So I have doubled up some sections, and yeah, and then when it comes to the ratio of the colours, I used hardly any of the green. I used a bit more of the Leonette Gold, but still not a whole lot. I have mostly used the two colours I wanted to focus on, which are the pink and the copper, and then just used the lightest colour in the background. And then of course I could have switched this up in so many different ways, which would give the same mandala lots of different, you know, there are just lots of different options. So, yeah, this is just a little bit of a chat through how I do mandalas, and I'm hoping that it has been helpful for you. I know some people feel really intimidated by mandalas. I really enjoy doing them. It's something that I find really, it's like a mindful practice for me, which is good for my mental health, just being in the moment, focusing on what is in front of me instead of all the crazy scenarios that pop up in my head. But yeah, if you've been putting off colouring mandalas because you haven't been sure where to start or how to do it, I really hope that this has been helpful. We're almost there. Of course, you could also do something on the rest of the page. I don't feel the need to always fill my pages, so I'll be leaving the rest of the page white. But I've seen some very lovely backgrounds done for mandalas with all kinds of different mediums like chalk pastels and things like that. So there it is, all done. So we have our mandala and we have our colour palette. As I said, I tried to match it as best as I could, so it's not exact, but yeah, I think it looks pretty good. These are certainly not colours I ever would have thought to put together, and that is exactly why I am doing this little project with myself to expand my colour palette thoughts and all of that. So I hope, I've said it a bunch of times, I know, but I hope this was helpful. I try to make all my videos, well, as many as I can, to be helpful in some way. And yeah, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That would be amazing. And also feel free to put any comments in the description. Leave any comments you have down below. The link to the book, the colour cubes, the markers, all of that will be in my description below. And you can also find me on my various social media accounts through the links below. And there was something else I was going to say, and now I've forgotten. Oh, that's right. You can use all kinds of mediums in mandalas as well. Some of mine I have used some metallic pens and things, so you don't just have to stick to markers or pencils. Just have fun with it. They can be so much fun. Yes, so that's it. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Bye.